We back here on the Morning Mental again. If you've been keeping up, then you know where we are. We're back for part 2 of The Judge, the book, and the cover. We left off in part 1. I was talking to you about a gentleman that most people never bring the name up when they're so quick to talk about the civil rights movement. They're quick to go to what we call the usual suspects, but they never go to those individuals that are actually responsible who were there doing it first. We're talking about Robert Williams. If you don't know who Robert F. Williams was, then you should Google him, or you should actually pick up a book that he's written called Negroes with Guns, because contrary to popular belief, it was not Malcolm X who popularized the pro-violent part of the civil rights movement. Malcolm was simply building on that which was already in existence. But we're going back to the first person to do it, the person who formed the Black Guard, the person who actually battled the Klan in the dirty South, back in the Carolinas, the person that was actually accused falsely of a crime, because once they think they got a crime on you, they can then run you out of the country. We talked about all of that in part 1. What we were talking about as we were leaving is what happened after exile in Cuba and then living in China and being instrumental in actually facilitating the relationship that you all now see today between America and China that actually was done by a black man. We come back to what happens to when this gentleman finally did return home. Now, understand, this man had become very powerful in China. He was sitting with the rulers in China, and the United States wanted to kiss ass and get in on the market in China. So the Chinese basically told them, you ain't gonna do nothing to him. We got his back right now. He's been an honorable citizen here. We're not going to let you do anything to him. He is going to come home. You're not going to fuck with him. And if you do, you're going to have to deal with us. Basically, China did to America with this black man what China did to America in the Korean War. Oh, y'all don't know? Technically, we're still at war with the country of Korea. It's been a ceasefire that's been going on for almost 60 some years. Why? Because we found out that we couldn't bully our way into this little ass country and get a presence on that peninsula over there on that continent, because guess who was behind them? China was. And even though the United States can say they're the most powerful military on earth, do you notice we never talk shit to or get into it or have any disagreements with China? Why? They're over 1 billion fucking people. They could beat us in a fist fight alone, just hand to hand. It ain't got to be about weapons. And when it comes to nukes, they got nukes too. Matter of fact, half the shit that's in your house was made in where? China. And so in 1969, Williams returned to the U.S. aboard a TWA flight that was chartered by the U.S. government. They flew him home. All charges against him was dropped. Yeah. And then he went on to advise the State Department on normalizing relations with China. What he didn't do was he did not assume leadership of what had become a divided and broken Black Power movement. Instead, Williams accepted a position as a research associate at the Institute for Chinese Studies at the University of Michigan, and he and his wife Mabel, they moved to Baldwin. There's a name that's been floating around lately, near the university, and Williams died of cancer in 1996, and he was buried in Monroe, North Carolina. Now, if you have not read Negroes with Guns by Robert F. Williams, I encourage you to go and get a copy. What is the strange thing about this piece right here on the Morning Mental is that history has a habit of repeating itself in the face of collective ignorance. You know, it was Robert Williams who said, it is time for black men to stand up and be men. And if it is necessary for us to die, we must be willing to die. If it is necessary for us to kill, we must be willing to kill. The only caveat to that, I would say, sir, is that we've come to learn that if we do that, we have to also be willing to sacrifice every woman and child that is in this country under our care, because white folks would retaliate against them with no remorse. You all may not think that black people would go in and start killing white kids and white women because you're thinking, no, we can't be that horrible, but they wouldn't hesitate to do that shit to you. So before you start calling for bullets to start flying, think about your mama. Think about your wife. Think about your daughters. Think about the children. And stop thinking about the broke up life that you've led. Sacrifice your life for something worthy instead of sitting around trying to throw everything just because you can't win. Everybody got to go up in flames. You're a pathetic excuse for a human being, and you're not worthy to wear the mantle of black man. I said it. Now prove me wrong. Well, we're talking about you being a judge. We're talking about you not reading the book. Well, let's talk about the cover. And the cover is the interesting part because most of you all will judge a book by its cover. Most of you all will judge a person by what you heard, not by what you've investigated and found out yourself. And just like Nicodemus couldn't read the Bible, he needed someone to come along and interpret for him, for it is written, for Yah gives pastors after his own heart. In other words, it is the creator who picks who he's going to use to interpret his word to you so you can understand it and function in your appointed role. That is why you can't pick up the 66 books and go from Genesis to Revelation and exegete in the original Greek Aramaic text. You just can't pick up the book and speak Aramaic that Yeshua spoke. You can't do that. You need someone that has been called and qualified by the Creator to do that for you. Unfortunately, we have so many people who sit in judgment and think that they know the contents of the book, that they put on a cover that makes you think that they are learned. They put on a cover that makes you think that they are your holy person. They put on a cover that makes you think that they are anointed. They put on covers the same way the Klan puts on a cover to exact terrorism against black folks. And we've all fallen victim to judging people by their cover until shit hits the fan and then true colors are revealed. And when the covers are gone and you see people for who they truly are, you suddenly begin to realize. I will never forget what this young lady said the first time I came out in Brunswick, Georgia, and she was standing there with her little child and her girlfriend. Her child turned around, looked me up and down, pulled on her mama and said, "Mama, look, the Black Army." Sister girl looked back, looked me up and down, told her girlfriend, "Look at what's behind you." Her girlfriend looked back and said these words, "I have never felt so safe in the presence of a black man as I am right now." Girl, we in the right place at the right time. She saw me and the 4-5 other brothers out there who wasn't listening to the speech. We wasn't standing there with our hands in the air in solidarity. We wasn't chanting nothing. We was busy looking around to see if anybody was going to fuck up the good time or fuck up the moment or fuck up the memorial so that we could put a bullet in their ass, because that's what they would have had to do to make us start putting bullets in them. You don't judge a book by its cover. But let's get back to this cover. You see, if you keep on letting people talk to you about the cover when they're sitting in that which they shouldn't be doing, which is judgment, when they are ignorant to the book and you are too, then that old saying will become true of us as a people. The blind leading the blind off of a cliff. When you can rival my teachings, when you have the insight provided through the third eye elevation of Yah, when you have empathy Not only for those who hate you, but for those who love you and those who are just confused. When you have a bigger picture vision, not only of what's happening in your backyard, in your city, in your state, in your country, but of the entire world. When you have read the books of other people and digested what they were really about to make an intelligent decision of how we should move forward. When you've done all of those things, you call me and I will be more than happy to sit with you so that we can talk about moving our people forward. But if all you are is a clown, if all you are is a comedian, if all you are is uneducated but trying to sound educated, if all you are is unlearned in the ancient scriptures, if all you are is an average Joe who has self-appointed himself as a judge, who has self-appointed themselves as an expert on a book you ain't read, who has now decided that what you see on the cover that you're reading all wrong makes you an expert, then I wish and I pray that the karma that is rained on you is cold. Karma is a dish that is best served cold. Revenge is a dish that is best served cold. I come into the presence of brothers, good brothers, strong brothers, brothers that know where they stand and what they want for their people, brothers ready to take it to the streets. And these brothers, they tremble, they're nervous, not in my presence, but in the presence of whom I come on behalf of, because I am going to call you out on your card. But remember what is written, be slow to anger. But when you do move decisively and put it to bed forever. As a people, we have got to get out of judging. As a people, we've got to read the books. And as a people, we have got to learn to see past the cover that everyone has thrown on. I've given you the blueprint several times. You're going to look up and there'll be no more morning mentals. There'll be no more facts over feelings. There'll be the teachings that I've left for you to study over and over again. You're going to wait until that day comes, or you're going to get with the program right now. I see you. Yes, I do. I see the clones. I see people now attempting to have these conversations on their own. I see people who are so busy running around trying to imitate the messenger that they're failing to listen to the messenger. I'm watching the numbers. I'm watching people play psychological games against you so that you won't participate in the greatest next step movement in what we called the civil rights. I see people who are still ignorant to the process of liberation. I see people that tried to hustle you on a liberation to make money off of you, and now they just stuck. So they mad at everybody else that comes along that does it for real. I'm not going to call the name of certain groups in this country that swear up and down they got the market locked on liberation, yet they still in prison with you. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is continue to talk to those who have the sense enough to know that the bell is being rung. It is time for us to go through the process. It's easy to file paperwork. We did that already. It's easy for us to come up with a name. We did that already. It's easy to tell how many of us it should apply to. We've done that already. But you're ignorant to the fact that without a demonstration of population, you're going nowhere. The Million 2A formation will be your demonstration of population to the United Nations. And none of them have done that before, have they? But they damn sure try to stop it from happening. You know why? Because if we put ourselves in a position to be in a position to exodus from this country and actually move to a place where we can build the United Black Kemetic Nation, they're afraid they're going to be left behind because they probably will be, or they're afraid they won't qualify to go because they probably don't qualify, or they've sold themselves out to the point where they want to accuse everybody else of making the mistakes that they already made. He's an agent because you're an agent. Oh, he hooked up with Trump because you hooked up with Trump. Oh, yeah, he hooked up with white folks because you hooked up with white folks. Oh, he gonna get us all killed. No, you'd get us all killed. Oh. That's what you hear from those people. I am not here to help you remove the demons that you introduced into your life, that you have to explain to Yah at the end. That is not my purpose. My purpose was to do just like Robert F. Williams did. Ring the alarm, assemble the people to defend themselves so that when we are attacked, let me underline the word again, attacked. You want to go off on some terrorism shit where you running around planting bombs and doing little sneaky shit and rile motherfuckers up to hunt down every last one of us, then you be my guest and go ahead and do it. But don't sit around and play judge and don't read the book and then try to tell people that you understand the cover, because eventually I will show up to see you. And when that happens, black people are going to fall back and say, that's just black on black crime. Ain't nothing changed. And you don't see how hard that I am working not to walk into that path. But some of y'all are on your knees begging for it because you don't know any better. You see, we have been socialized to attack each other, especially when any one of us talks about attacking the opposition. I want you all to know, in case you haven't heard, we're talking about this morning on the Morning Mental. Never judge a book by its cover. We've dealt with the judging. We've dealt with the book. And we've dealt with the cover. I encourage you to go and study Robert F. Williams. The parallels in Mr. Williams and myself are so striking that it's almost scary. That Yah would take another black man to do exactly. History repeats itself. I'm going to be starting a series soon here based on this book here. If you don't have it, I'm going to need you to go out and get a copy. And this is The Destruction of Black Civilization, Great Issues of Race from 4500 BC to 2000 AD by Chancellor Williams. We will be teaching a 9-part series on this particular book to help you all understand even further that before we can do anything physically, we have to remove the chains mentally. We have to. And right now, none of those chains appear to be coming off. Here we are in November going into December, and I've been telling y'all this all summer long. I have shown you what we look like. And yet I now understand what Robert F. Williams was talking about when he says that we are fractured and beleaguered in the pro-black movement. Y'all act like y'all want to come together, but then you turn around and work against each other. Y'all act like y'all all for the same thing, but then you turn around and attack anybody that tries to move us in that direction. You claim that you down for the cause, but you don't understand that you're not perfect. You're going to make mistakes too. And you don't want to own your mistakes. A lot of you all are so in your feelings, you can't even deal with the facts. And if I'm morning mental, you're evening ignorance. And that is why we have to remove those chains. You know, in this book, and I'm only going to read the dedication. This is the dedication. Y'all see that? That's the dedication. The dedication to the book is where I'm going to leave you. Because remember, I am a child of the 60s. This book says, to the black youth of the 1960s, for beginning the second great emancipation, the liberation of our minds, thus changing the course of history. I don't know about y'all, but apparently I'm walking in that purpose. My question is, why aren't you? I'll tell you why. Because you haven't understood anything that I've said about the judge, the book, and the cover. But I'm on my morning mental. I am done. The great day coming up, November 28th. November 28th, Atlanta, Georgia. The I Am Black Award Show. A prestigious award bestowed upon myself and the NFAC. The demand for tickets is so great. It's been sold out. People are still calling. The demand for admission into the after celebration, because my birthday falls that same weekend, has been so great that we have now arrived at the conclusion there's no way that we can accommodate the size of this crowd. There are members of the NFAC who want to show love and appreciation, who says, can we just come as we are? I have no control over what happens on the inside of that award show, but I do have control over what happens on the outside of that award show. All I'm going to say to the members of the NFAC, I am not going to tell you what to do. You do whatever you think is appropriate to honor your supreme commander. That's all I'm going to say. But I will let you all know that it will be a day that some people don't want to see happen, and we'll be prepared for that. It'll also be a day that many people have been waiting to happen, and we'll be prepared for that too. Either way, if you would like to participate in history, be there. I know they're going to live stream. They're talking about some type of pay-per-view thing. I don't have the details as of yet. But the ATL November 28th award show, it is sold out. The flyer is on my site. You can get the details. The other thing is people are starting to come forward, desiring to donate to one of two causes. The financing of the NFAC, because you're right, in the beginning, when we first put this together, we did our group economics and we pretty much paid our own way. But this is hard times we're living in, and a lot of those people who have volunteered are now not able to participate because of the lack of funds to get them there. So if you people still want to see the NFAC in the streets and making sure that they're properly equipped, I did a class on the 55K Army. This is not blind donations. This is so that these folks can get a paycheck for their time, so that we can buy them the appropriate uniforms and things like that. It's a class. Go back and watch it. But at the end of the day, there are folks who want to donate to that. And of course, if you remember what the donation was, it was something around it was $10 a month. $10 a month. That's it. A Happy Meal. If you choose to be more generous to the cause, that's on you. Additionally, some other folks want to donate to the Exodus effort for the establishment of the UBKM. And they've come forward with that. They're saying, where do I donate so that we can get the hell out of here? I would be remiss to say that that would not be the appropriate approach. I think that anything that we want to do for Black communities, you could finance that. Yes, we're talking about picking a city, a Black neighborhood, and the NFAC is going to deploy to that neighborhood, not to shoot anybody, but to occupy the neighborhood and feed people, to occupy the neighborhood and hand out coats, to occupy the neighborhood and make sure people's homes are safe, to occupy a Black neighborhood so that for one day, the police got to look over their shoulders when they show up. That's what we do. That's going to take money for us to come in and do that. So anybody who wishes to donate to any of those efforts, I will now let you all know that we're targeting December 21st. December 21st to do this. Why December 21st? Because December 21st is the day that all of the planets will be in alignment. All the moons will be in alignment. The earth and the sun will be in alignment. And never has that ever happened before. There are some who believe that spiritual energies and spiritual portals will open and that all of us will be granted clarity of some degree based on who you are. On this day, it would only be appropriate that the descendants of the 12 tribes come into alignment and help those who are who are less fortunate than us. Not just coming in to give you a turkey and be gone, but to come in and spend a whole day in your neighborhood, going to the drug spots, going to the stripper spots, going down to the hood where people don't have any hope, and being with our people, feeding them, clothing them, and protecting them. I got to let that sink in for a minute. And then there are those who want to donate so that we can make the demonstration of population happen, so that we can actually get 1 million of us together to demonstrate a percentage of the population that is imprisoned here in the United States. Whichever you choose. You can visit blacknfac.com. There's a little donate tab up there, simply whatever you want to do and why you're doing it. And all names are captured. All names are captured. We will know the name of each and every one of you that did any one of the 3 things that I just mentioned. And when those names are published, people will turn to you and look at you and say, what were you thinking? You want to come to the table and eat, but you didn't want to help prepare the table. You want to come to the table and tell us how to set the table, but you didn't have nothing to do with us buying the silverware or the plates or the table or nothing. You want to come and try to tell somebody how to do something that you had nothing to do with. Interesting. We don't rock like that. Those of us who are still left of the core of the Black community understand exactly that the only way we are going to fix us is we have to lift ourselves up, and we have to stop being the individuals who still operate by being the judge of the book with just by reading the cover. And I said this once, and I'll say it again. Why are you not happy that things went well? Ask yourself that. What are your children going to say about you when the list is published? He told you, just be Black. Everything else does not matter. If you're Black first, we don't care how you worship. If you're just Black first, we don't care what your preference is in your lifestyle. If you're just Black first, we don't care what side of town you came from. If you just Black first, we don't care if you're light skinned, dark skinned, old, young, thugging, not thugging. If you're just Black first, then we all get on code. Because right now, we're anything but that. This has been my morning mental. I hope I've given you something to think about. You don't have to believe anything I just said. You can just go on ahead and keep your head in the sand and keep on, or better yet, you can keep on following the dead end movement that you've been behind, and you can keep on listening to the naysayers. And I really find it sad that just like Moses, when he came down the hill and he saw what was going on, I am watching some of you who have been here since day one go in the complete opposite direction, which proves to me that no matter what I show you or no matter what I teach you, some of you are still broken inside, and you cannot walk into the promised land on broken legs. And on that note, I bid you all shalom. I'll see you tonight with Facts Over Feelings. Y'all have a good day. Me, I'm going to sit here and think a little bit more. Y'all should be thinking too. To all my brothers and sisters, I bid you all shalom.